Welcome to Rezzed. We've actually managed to sneak away from the floor for a few minutes so that we can actually steal Rudiger, who works at Frogsters. He's the producer behind RaiderZ. And we're going to sit and have a chit-chat about it and get out of the rain that has now decided to soak Brighton.
Yeah, a little bit of rain. Come on. It's England.
It's the English weather. It has to rain at some point. I blame Richard, who stood behind me, because of the whole... He sent out an email which says that it's sunny. He was like, welcome to sunny Brighton.
Look at my arms, please. That was yesterday.
See, yeah, it's just a case of Rezzed has hit and so has the rain.
That's the case, yeah.
Yes.
But
so,
welcome.
RaiderZ.
Yes.
It's looking fantastic so far.
Thank you very much.
And from everyone on the floor so far, they all seem to be really enjoying it. It must be wonderful to actually see people sit down and give you the same kind of opinion that you've had for quite a while.
Yeah, you know, sitting in the office, playing the game and seeing the reaction of your colleagues is one thing. Now, the other thing is, of course, being down on the floor, seeing the players play it for the first time, getting the first impression, seeing that gleam in their eyes and saying, yes, we did it.
Yeah. Especially because the first thing that they encounter isn't actually one of the bigs in the game, really, is it? It's the first thing that they'll actually see is just the small things, and then they'll be running around, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah, all of a sudden you run into, for example, our little froggy, who is really awesome because he tries to grab you, he tries to chew on you, and if you fight him for a while, he's suddenly gone, you know. The first time I ran into him, I was standing there and didn't know what to do because he was vanished, in my opinion. And then I was looking up and I saw him up in the sky, jumping high there and coming down with lightning speed on me.
When we first managed to actually get in, I managed to take a little sneak peek at the game before we had to go off to our first interview, and it was really great to see someone was fighting a golem, a big stone guy, and it was literally a case of ran into it by accident and then ended up in combat with it, and it was a case of, I'm going to die fighting this thing, but I'm going to try. And just running through its legs, and it just kept swinging at her, and then all of a sudden it just jumped, and that was it. This thing jumped into the air, and then just, she was splattered as soon as it came down. So it's really interesting to see that you've got this very dynamic combat of you have to get out of the way.
That's one of the key features of the game, you know. A lot of old-style MMOs, I will call them now, have this non-action-oriented approach.
Yes, it's all about buttons.
Yeah, that's the point. You point and click, and you say, fight for me.
Yeah.
And it does. Or you even have bots in there that do the whole job for you. Yeah. You can actually switch them on, leave them overnight, you come back, and you have killed 10,000 mobs. Oh, great.
It's really a case of rock'em sock'em robots, to the extent of you and the mob in a very old school MMO will basically run up to each other, you'll both hit each other as hard as you can, and the loser is the one that falls over first.
That's the point, yeah.
Whereas,
but not with RaiderZ.
No, in RaiderZ it's very much a case of if you try to stand there, you will be punished. This is a case of you are in control of your character, you have to move, it's all about your skill.
That's the point.
That seems to really shine through, especially when fighting one of the bigger monsters. And it's a case of you have to move. If you just stand there, you're going to die. And even the other wonderful thing of if you're good enough, you can kill stuff before you really should be able to, or that skill level really comes into it.
I see you got a good grasp of the game already. You know, it's really that point. You know, we are trying to get the game up. It's balancing. Balancing is always difficult. Yes. But we are trying to get the game to a point where you just have the feeling, if I try a little bit harder, if I get a little bit better, I can kill him myself. Yes. But also, you always have the opportunity to join up with your friends as a group and fight the big-ass monsters as a group.
Yeah, it's that wonderful aspect of, okay, I can't take this guy on my own. Hey, guys, come and help, and let's do this together. There is that wonderful satisfaction of killing something on your own, and then if you can't do it, there's also that wonderful satisfaction of bringing in your friends and doing it as well.
And believe me, if you go for the big monsters with a big group, that's so much fun. It's unbelievable. We did streaming a couple of months ago, and then we actually spawned one of the higher level monsters in a lower level area just to show off what they can do. Now it was the Manticora, and we had something like 20 people in there helping us to fight her, and it still took 45 minutes to get her down, and she had 3 different fighting styles.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I've seen some of the ones that you've announced so far. The Spirit Wolf was one of the ones that I saw.
Yeah.
But you yesterday announced the guy who's sat behind us. Do you want to give some information regarding this guy? Because apparently he is big.
he is huge. He's not big, he's huge. Big as something like the stone golem you saw. Big as something like Iluga, the frog. This thing here, that's a walking mountain. When your character is standing in front of it, you're just high enough to look over his toenail.
Wow. That's fantastic. I mean, as a gamer, I love the aspect of the bigger it is, the better it's going to feel when it hits the ground. So the fact that you are very tiny. Of course, that also means you have to worry a lot. If he is that much bigger than you have to worry about the feet. You have to worry about where you are. It's all about that wonderful dynamic combat system. And it's really great to see that. But then, of course, once they've actually hit the floor and it's dead and it's finished, you've got these wonderful systems also supporting your game, such as the crafting system, which that to me is a very big one.
You see, I'm in the industry now for 25 years. I'm playing games for over 30 years. So I've seen a lot of different games, especially also MMOs. And the one thing that always struck me as a little bit strange is I'm killing a little wolf, I'm opening up, and I find in there a complete full plate armor. How the heck fit that in there?
Yes.
Well, we actually decided not to go that way with RaiderZ. So in RaiderZ, you will never find a complete set of armor, a sword, or something like that as a loot. Never.
Yeah.
What you find are base parts that you can use, and they are logical. So, for example, if you want a new shield, you need, of course, maybe some wood. So you go in the forest, there are 3 spirits, you kill the 3 spirits, you get wood.
They drop wood, yeah.
Now,
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's something that really fascinates me when it comes to games. I love the aspect of it dropping any kind of loot, but the fact that they go that little bit extra when it comes to developing a game and pay attention. And it's a case of, trees drop wood, they don't drop shields, they don't drop swords. It's not a case of you kill a wolf and you find a sword in it or a halberd. It's like, what was this wolf doing? Could I just have pulled it out of its mouth? Could I just have lifted up the wolf?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was always wondering the same thing. You go in there, you kill a dragon, and dragon have huge hoards of treasure. Sure, but not inside of them.
Yeah, that was always the weird thing. It's like, I thought dragons were meant to keep it behind them, not actually in them. But of course, you've also got this wonderful aspect when it comes to the crafting system of the bigger the thing you kill, the better the stuff you're going to get from it when it comes to what you're going to be able to make from it.
Yeah, sure. No, because, you spend so much energy and time to fighting that big beast. So, of course, the loot must be... equalize that.
Yeah.
In a certain sense. And so that you get some really, really cool stuff, and that stuff you can use then to build better armor, better weapons, or whatever you want.
Or even food.
The feast system, yeah.
Which is a fantastic system.
It is, it's fun. Now you go in there, you actually collect the different food that you need, and then you're starting cooking.
Yes.
Great. That's one of the good things. The other one that we also just implemented in the game is, for example, the transformation system. Heard about that one? No,
I actually haven't. You've caught me off guard on that one. Go on.
Good one.
Fill us in.
So, transformation system is basically, you have the ability, you buy, actually I don't know how it will look like at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, it might be a stone, might be a scroll or something like that.
Yeah.
You buy that one, and you can use it to transform your character into a certain amount of animals, or into NPCs, or into lower level mobs. Of course, not in something like this one here, that would be unfair. No, but it's not only a superficial transformation. You also get the complete skill set.
That's fantastic.
It is. No, and the fun part is, you're transforming yourself, for example, into a cat, and you can sneak into enemy camps because they ignore you. You are a cat. What will a cat do? Scratch you?
That's just fantastic. It really shows attention to detail.
Yeah. And it's fun. I remember the first time I ran into something like this that was a precursor of the whole system.
Yeah.
Now, in one of the missions, you're fighting a big guy. And as you know, when you're fighting the enemies, often they drop something, a shield or a buff or part of their body that you can use as weapon.
Yeah.
So normally it's a very good idea to pick it up and use it.
Yeah.
This time I didn't have the time because I was very, very low on my health. So I was the usual thing, running around the tree to get away from him.
That's fantastic.
And I managed to kill him. And then I said, okay, why not pick it up now? So I picked it up, and in that moment, I was transformed into a rabbit. I was just sitting there and saying...
So if you had have picked it up...
That's the point.
It's that wonderful thing of you would have been absolutely...
Smashed.
Yes. So, Rudiger, thank you very much for taking some time out of your very busy day and also getting out of the rain. I'm sure that's a wonderful relief from you. But then again, you'd be hiding away over at the booth anyway.
Yeah, come on, I will go over to the booth later and have a chit-chat with the players, and we'll enjoy that. Now, I can't keep completely away there.
I'm sure. I mean, if I had anything to do with this game, I would be stood there and I'd be watching every single reaction, just because every one of them would be that moment that I was looking for. That's the reason of why you do this.
Yeah, basically it is. Yes.
So, what kind of schedule are you looking for RaiderZ?
At the moment, the Koreans are going into OBT.
Yeah.
We are following soon with our CBT next month.
Yeah.
And release at the moment is planned for mid-end of November. That might move a couple of weeks, but
of course
we are not talking about years or months or something like that.
I mean, what I saw on the floor looked like a lot of the base features were actually implemented. It's just a case of fleshing it out, making sure it's polished, making sure you've got a game of the highest quality. I mean, I've played Terra. I'm a big fan of Terra as well. And you're really looking, from the looks of what I've already seen, to really make this a very polished game, make sure it's a game that people enjoy playing and want to play and want to tell their friends about.
We believe that this game is AAA, and we are treating it that way. And so we are putting a lot of work into polishing, and of course, don't forget, into translating and localizing, because that's really a big part on our issue. Now that we have to do a lot of work, we have to spend in there, and then not only translate it word by word, that would be meaningless, but making it more accessible for the European players.
Yeah, because that's something that can really break a fantastic game, is if a player's trying to read the question, it's like, but this is garbled, I can't read this. Or it's English, but it doesn't make sense. It's like, I understand these words, but not the order.
It's not my language. What are they actually trying to tell me?
Yeah, so it's really nice that you're going to make sure that all of that is polished, because that really helps make the game.
And in this case, actually, we are going with British English.
Oh, wonderful.
So a nice treat for our British fans here.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you very much for giving us your time.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much for letting us have a look at RaiderZ, and can't wait for it.
Yeah. Just go and have fun.
Thank you very much.
See ya.